Hi, I'm Louie, the director and editor of The One Who Got Called In.
Hi, my name is Bec Fordyce, and I am the writer-producer, and I also play Sasha Lamia.
Bec,
Yes.
what was the inspiration for this short film?
So the inspiration came over a coffee date with our lead actress, Heather Gilbert. Oh, and I just saw me flash as a demon. We went out for coffee one afternoon and shared exchange stories of the businesses that kind of are surrounding the business of acting. And we exchanged horror stories and spoke about the controversial pay-to-play workshops. And we decided to put a horror spin on this type of, sub-industry beneath, the acting world.
And very good.
Yeah.
And at the moment, we're in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Because this was shot primarily in Brooklyn and a little bit of Queens,
Yep.
Astoria and Bed-Stuy, correct?
Correct.
And for me, at least, taking the story you had and kind of, as the director, kind of morphing it into this terrifying tale, I'd say, for me, I wanted it to feel like Nina when she's outside entering this building that you're watching right now. It's like another universe. That was kind of the vibe I wanted with this, at least like the script you wrote, kind of bringing it to life where it's almost alien, especially when she walks into the audition space where it almost feels otherworldly, like you're not supposed to be there. And I think we achieved that.
Yeah, and I also love that we actually began the film in the second scene. So there was originally a whole other scene with the brilliant Lena Amato and Nina Lamb having this scene as roommates. And it gave a lot of exposition and kind of the whole crux of the film, but it didn't really serve and move the story along. And I love the Suspiria vibes that we get at the beginning and the way that the title card drops and you also get the simultaneous music. And yeah, I love how we tightened and brought the story to, where it needed to be on screen.
Yeah, that was kind of my inspiration, just visually with the lighting, kind of the shadows, the darkness, especially, Klaus, his character's in that little space and it almost looks like a void. And then when Nina eventually goes into the room, which she'll be going in there in a few minutes, I wanted that to be drastically different from each experience because she goes into the room 2 separate times. So it's like one time it's more inviting. And then obviously you'll see in a couple of minutes, it's a little sinister. So that's kind of the vibe I get. Now, this scene here, you're an actor as well as a producer and a writer and all that lovely stuff. Is this something that happens where you guys just hang out and have headphones on? Or
So before the self-tape days, especially when you had a cattle call, which is where they ask for, every look and type within an age range, a lot of the time you have people warming up, running lines, chatting with friends, and sometimes just to put headphones on and get into character and zone out. You'll see a lot of that in the waiting room. But to be honest with you, I haven't done an in-person audition for maybe 3 years now. It's all self-tape unless you're getting down to those, really, tight, the last 2 people for the character. But yeah, it's all video now.
In this case, they need to see who they're going to hire.
Yeah.
So
workshops,
it's very physical.
Yeah, workshops are more kind of getting an essence of a person, and this is calling out the pay-to-play workshop. So it's not quite an audition, but you perform a monologue for, either a casting director or, an indie filmmaker, and they're not necessarily looking for anything. You're just kind of, it's almost like, you're just showcasing your talent.
Yeah. I want to talk about this room. It's been just a running gag. Once again, just kind of, even at our first screening of the short, we talk about how hot it was in this room.
Oh, my Lord. Oh.
So I just want to talk. And you're on the screen right now. We've got you behind the table with all the pictures of everyone or everyone's resume. What's it called? The headshot and the resume and all that, their portfolio. And then the wonderful demonic book there on the table. But it's so funny because whenever I think about this shoot, and at the time of this commentary's recording, it's been about almost a year.
Yeah.
Year to the date, funny enough. It was a scorcher. It was quite hot
Wow, yeah.
in this location. And we kind of always joke around about that, like all the actors and everything. It's like, wow, we all lost about 5 pounds that weekend because it was about 98 degrees, maybe even 100 in that room with our broken air conditioner.
Yeah, and all of the lighting and all the bodies in the space. It was a literal inferno. And, you know, everybody was such a trooper for persevering throughout it. We came up with, you know, hair and makeup challenges, but eventually we just kind of rolled with it because it's like, well, you know, they kind of are in an inferno, so let's just let that sweat and that hair frizz up.
I mean, you don't really notice it that bad. There's not a lot of... Like right now we're looking at Heather as Nina, and she's looking pretty dry. So we were able to mask it pretty well.
Yeah.
I, though... T-shirt had the armpit sweat stains. I was melting in there. And you too. You look glorious. There's no sweatiness on you whatsoever. I'll always remember that though. I will cherish that memory, Bec.
Oh, that was it was toasty.
It was. Here we go with the cross dissolve. I always love music and movies, so I went out of my way to, you know, add add a buddy of mine, his band, they gave us music to add to it. And it's really subtle, but I like the idea of, you know, Neighborhood Dan is the name of the band, by the way. Just adding some music there. I like that little transition where you go from you guys in the room sinisterly kind of sitting there and Dan comes in, Klaus comes in to get Nina, and then just dissolve to the music. I feel like music needs to be, and not score, like actual music needs to be especially in short films and feature-length films, all film, just to have some sort of real music from a band or an artist. I think it just adds to the atmosphere. I really like that little twist there.
Something I also love is the detail of all of these really old headshots. And we had some headshots donated by actresses that were using things from the 70s, the 80s, and we deliberately put that in as the detail to kind of make the audience think something's a little off and something's weird about this. And you might be able to see like a composite card that's in black and white on the table from an actress called Charlene Hartman. She gave us some really fantastic photos, you know, when she was acting and modeling in the 70s and 80s. And then, we have a bunch of other friends, old headshots that we requested. And that was just something, a little detail that I really loved about the film. It's kind of subtle, but, you know, we're sharing commentary with you. So maybe it's something that will enrich your viewing experience.
It's set design wise. It looks great.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're just complimenting ourselves here, but it does. It looks great. It looks like they've seen a lot of people that evening. And Nina's the one. She's the one who got called in. To go back to the title. Talk about this scene, because we do cut back now. Now we see Nina out of the element, out of the sinister space.
But too foreshadowing of food with the burger, and then it was Holidays of Terror, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's also presenting, you know, Valentine's Day chocolates to a deceased lover.
Yeah, I wanted... So originally, you talked about that original scene.
Yes.
The short was going to start with a hamburger being made, but like you said, the scene had to be cut for time, for, you know, just timing and pacing and stuff like that. But I'm glad we got a shot of a half-eaten hamburger, because that was very important. You know, it's one of those details where you watch it for the first time, you're not going to notice it. You watch it a second time, you're like, we told you right there what is going to happen to Nina.
I love this shot so much. It's so creepy with Patrick Devaney in the background. Yeah. This is one of my favorite shots in the whole film, with him just lurking and creeping through the door. And he also generously donated a lot to this film as well, but he's just such a wonderful human to have on set. And I love this shot so much.
I've known Pat a long time, and he does well as an imposing kind of figure. And those shots, the shots of you as a demon, were a late addition. We did that months after shooting, just because I felt like it needed... I wanted to tease the audience with what Miss Lamia looks like as her final form in a way, but not outright show it, because obviously we're working with a limited budget, but just kind of tease the audience. And that shot itself was obviously borrowed from Rosemary's Baby, one of my favorite movies. So I wanted to kind of pay homage to that film and just have a shot of really sinister eyes and show that this woman is not human.
It reminds me a little bit of Captain Howdy from The Exorcist as well,
too.
with those creepy subliminal shots. I love, it's a great detail. And then that was just Hollis who was on the screen, and he was one of the people that was, one of the producers and location managers. But he was really fun on set, and he created a jump scare in a rehearsal while filling in for another actor. And he ended up being so brilliant when he yells, "And action!"
What did we give Heather to drink there? What was it? It was
de-alcoholized wine. I went to this place called Minus Moonshine in Crown Heights, and it's wine with the alcohol removed. So it's a facsimile that looks a lot more convincing on screen. But is it blood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah.
It hits her pretty quick. We're going to see here in a sec. Because
there it is.
There goes the jump scare and action. So very good. And then the VHS aesthetic, I can sprinkle some reasons why I did that. Obviously, one of our characters here has a VHS camera, and I love that aesthetic, and I felt like for this, it would kind of show how this group of people really don't care about quality when they're filming these things. They just want, especially that character, he just wants to film these horrific moments where they drug people and prepare them for something. So, and I just like that aesthetic. I've always loved the kind of lo-fi quality of a VHS tape and camera.
This shot was fun as well. I love this shot too.
Yeah, a couple people have told me they love this shot, and it worked out because I had to do a lot of double exposure to make it work, because we ended up shooting it way longer than we needed to, but you don't even see the cut in that shot. Did you know that, Bec?
I didn't know. No.
Yeah. So here we go. This is this scene and all the scenes in this room with the red lighting, this is where I wanted there to feel kind of like a disconnect between the real world and like it almost feels like just a different place. Being outside in the streets of Brooklyn, a more urban setting, her home in the apartment, and then here it just is like she's just in this weird situation in this weird room that doesn't make any sense, and that's what I like. I'm also a big fan of The Sentinel, so I'm glad it was a brownstone. That was something, I'm a huge fan of that movie, and it being a brownstone, and that movie's about a demon ghost living in the attic and this model. I'm not going to get into it here, but that was a big inspiration too, which was why I was so happy that we did get a kind of a brownstone apartment building, because it just looks great. Yeah. And I just love how weird this looks, the red lighting, and just something is not gonna happen here. Obviously, Nina is not gonna make it out of this situation. Yeah,
and there's also a Lost Highway homage as well to Robert Blake's creepy character with the camera, and Barry did a great job with that role.
Yeah, that was kind of the original concept for that entire character. It was like, we need someone that looks like super creepy.
Yeah.
Here we go with the reveal. Yeah. How was this thing made? I don't even...
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I asked Heather to collect all of her hair that had fallen into the shower and the drain, and we put it in a Ziploc bag. We collected dirt, and we just tried to make... And it was also beyond meat because Louie's a vegetarian, so we didn't have any meat on set, but we used, plant-based meat. And then we had 2 people that were helping out on set put the hair in a bow, which just makes it look really disgusting, and we just wanted to make something really gross at the end.
A couple of chicken bones are in there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I had to bleach chicken bones, and I asked my roommate at the time to put these chicken aside, but that is Heather's real hair.
Very disgusting looking. It's pretty gnarly and gross.
And the ending was inspired by The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, which was a real art house shocker from the 80s, and it incorporates cannibalism at the end of the film. So that was also something that really spoke to me as a storyteller, was I kind of wanted to tell a really fucked up story.
But yes, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching.
Take care.